Hi, Julie Truthsayer. Today I'd like to talk about how President Obama and the mainstream media specifically are not telling us the truth, hiding the truth, actually. So, first of all, in John, chapter 14, verse 6, Jesus says, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." And then in John 14, verse 17, "Even the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it seeth him not, neither knoweth him, but ye know him, for he dwelleth with you, and shall be in you." So we see, truth is a very basic tenet of any type of following of God's will and God's light. Has to be. But we see in, say, when the revolutions were kind of taking place over in the Middle East, in Egypt, Syria, Libya, and there's a report always sent out by the White House on when there's takeovers of different countries by other sects, that there's a report given out, and there's always this one section that talks about how various indigenous religious groups in those countries fare or do during these takeovers. And the White House in this instance during the Arab Spring said nothing about what was happening. And there was one instance where the Coptic Christians, I believe 32, were killed, and between 300 and 500 of them were wounded in a certain instance by the people taking over the countries. So that shows a religious intolerance that definitely is not of God, because we can all worship God in our own way and attain that light in different ways. There's many paths to the summit of attainment of light in God, and each should be respected. But that was totally left out of the report, so nobody heard about it, except there was a few little references to what happened in few places, but there wasn't a big deal made of it, whereas its way should have been discussed and known by everybody. Then also a big plan by the Obama administration was something called Fast and Furious, where they took guns or sold guns to people in Mexico, and were supposed to track where the guns went and how they got into the hands of could be into the hands of the drug cartels there and things, and the guns were lost. And even one of our border agents was killed by one of the guns that was lost. And very many people did not ever hear about it. And then Eric Holder was brought before the Congressional Commission to find out what happened with Fast and Furious, and Eric Holder refused to give certain information and certain documents, and so then he was held in contempt, and he never did. And he's still in his office, and he's still working, and he never has turned over the documents to anybody. And President Obama has put an executive protection on those documents so that nobody can even read them. So there's absolutely no truth in that situation. And we, the American people, have a right to know what happened to all those guns that were walked over there, and what happened, why they were sent, and what happened that they were lost. It's a big debacle that needs to be discussed, and yet we have no access to the information because of President Obama. Then we even have not ever seen his transcripts from Harvard, and yet Romney has given out his tax return information, and it was decried by the mainstream media as not being enough. Of course, it's never enough. And yet President Obama doesn't have to give out any information that he doesn't want to. That's very unfair, and that's very not truthful, not godly, not trying to obey God's will. And also, of course, the huge thing going on now is that Benghazi. And we don't hear anything about that practically in the news because the mainstream media wants to protect President Obama. And yet this is a horrible, horrible, mixed up mess. A U.S. ambassador is killed, and other people who were there to try and save him and others have been killed, and it lasted for 7 hours, and we could have had protection there, and excuse me, could have sent a lot of arms there to rescue our people. And the U.S. ambassador had sent several emails asking for more protection in the previous months, and yet had never received more protection. And then, of course, on September 11th, we should have beefed up protection anyway for all of our outlying embassies, especially in the Middle East. And yet here in Benghazi, there was definitely not enough, of course. And at first, and this is the main horrible part of Benghazi, is that people knew, the White House knew in real time what was happening there, because the drone that was over the Benghazi embassy was feeding information right when it was happening to the White House about what kind of an attack this was. And nobody at any time sent any information to the White House saying that it was because it was a spontaneous attack because of a video. The only news that was sent out was that it seemed to be, and 2 hours after it started, information was sent from Benghazi saying that it looked like it was a planned attack by a terrorist group, because they recognized some of the people there as being known terrorists. So huge cover up, because people came out for weeks afterwards, days and weeks afterwards, saying that it was, and from the Obama administration, saying that it was because of a video that had been made, which nobody had even known about. So I know that in, September 12th, Fox News came out and said that according to U.S. intelligence, they concluded that it was terrorism, and that they never once sent anything about any protest about a video. On September 11th, 2012, there was the night assault on the U.S. compound in Benghazi, and even though that they had been sent to the safe house, the people knew, the terrorists knew where the safe house was. And how did they know that information? There's some kind of horrible connection of a leak or knowing information they never should have known. How did that happen? Then on September 14th, Jay Carney was sent out and said it was the White House press secretary said it was an anti-video uprising from the video on YouTube, and of course that information had never been sent. It had always been sent as it was a terrorist attack. And then on September 16th, the UN ambassador Rice said that it was the YouTube video, and then even to one of the SEALs who was killed, Secretary of State Clinton said that it was the video that was at fault when she met him on the tarmac when his son's body was coming back. And then on September 25th at the UN, Obama told everybody that it was the video, and the video had never been mentioned by anybody that had been there for the attack, and the White House could see live streaming drone video on what was happening and could see it wasn't a spontaneous uprising. So, huge, huge cover-up. We need truth. We require truth in our government and in our mainstream media. And the media has not tried to find out the truth at all here, except for Fox News. There was a huge report sent out on the internet about media bias. It was signed by the heads of the Media Research Center, the Campaign for American Values, the Human Rights Commission, the Weyrich Bunch or Lunch, the National Organization for Marriage, American Conservative Union, Let Freedom Ring, National Radio Hosts Organization, Freedom Works, the Tea Party Express, and the Community for Justice. And these are what they said. The media bias is a blatant attempt to get President Obama reelected and all Democrats. They are not following the Society of Professional Journalists Code of Ethics to distinguish between advocacy and news reporting and, quote, seeking truth and providing a fair and comprehensive account of events and issues, unquote. And we don't see that at all in today's media, any attempt at true reporting that's unbiased and fair towards everybody. The polls show that no one trusts the media anymore. It's a fairy tale, made-up world. They are always painting the conservative ideas as extreme and wrong while covering up disastrous results of liberal programs since 2008. They are submerging truly hazardous economic or horrendous economic conditions. America is following and focusing on, and they're focusing on minor, inconsequential items. It goes on to just say that they never represent the truth of what's happening, and they deliberately cover up the truth. So God bless us all in truth, honesty, and justice.